I felt tremendously lucky when I opened my messages on Reddit a few months ago and had received a message from Reddit user Cosmo23. The message read, "Hey Numley, wanted to let you know that really enjoyed the fashion cover post you made and wanted to use the premise for some upcoming fashion shows we were planning. Would you be comfortable with us citing you as the inspiration for the idea? Let me know. Thanks." Having only skimmed through the text and not realizing who sent the message, I simply replied, "Sure, go ahead, smiley." I didn't know who it was, I didn't realize. See, Cosmo is one of the community managers at Bungie being the developers of a game that you enjoy so much, so being messaged by one of the employees is quite humbling, and certainly unexpected. In the next days, we kept messaging, which revealed they wanted to feature future fashion winners on a fashion cover, just like I had been making them. To which, of course, I said yes. To give some context, Bungie occasionally hosts a contest called Fashion Week, where you can share your character's or Guardian's look with a hashtag on social media. Bungie will then pick a few winners and grant an extremely rare emblem to those few lucky ones. I say lucky ones because, as you can imagine, it's extremely difficult to win when there's at least 40 to 50,000 entries every contest. At the end of the day, it's really about getting lucky. Unless you come up with something that stands out from the crowd a little bit. And this is where my idea comes into play. Since the very first fashion contest, I have been creating my own fashion magazines for Destiny characters. An idea I had while sitting on the pooper looking at my girlfriend's fashion magazines. By the way, she's very interested in photography and a cozy lifestyle, so if you want to check her out on Instagram, this is Hazel and Oats, separated by dots, just like you see on screen. I figured this could work nicely in the Destiny universe. I gotta drink a sip. I figured this could work nicely in the Destiny universe, and it was a nice matter to increase my chances at getting noticed in the first place. And in fact, I did get a lucky retweet during the second fashion week with this entry, granting the fabled Levante Prize emblem. It turned out people liked the idea quite a bit. Some editions received decent traction on Reddit and the Bungie's creations page. I even had other people asking me if I'm fine with them creating their own fashion magazines. I wasn't super stoked about that idea, but who am I to say no to that? It's not like I invented the fashion magazine in the first place. Fast forward almost 2 years later, it's September 2021. It had been 3 or 4 months since I received Cosmo's message. I knew there was a contest coming, but I had no clue when. So at that point, I'm just sitting in the dark on the waiting bench. Then finally there was a tweet. You could see the silhouette of 3 Guardians on a cover, and sure enough, 2 days later, it was 12th day, so Thursday for me, the cover was revealed. And in my eyes, it looked fantastic. There was one tiny catch though, one small catch. And no, don't get me wrong, I felt super lucky to have been chosen in the first place. Yet I couldn't help but notice the other 2 Guardians on the cover were mentioned with their Twitter and YouTube handles, while I was only mentioned by my name. I wasn't asked about this detail, and I also didn't want to ask for too much either, so I never brought it up during the conversations I had with Cosmo. Since I'm creating content and my audience is still rather small, being shared by a small indie company like Bungie with 2.6 million followers, it would have been, a neat opportunity to get some traction for my videos. But anyway, now this is the part where it almost gets funny. I knew there was going to be a section in the This Week at Bungie blog post that same day. But again, there was a slight catch. They misspelled my name, so Numley became Numley. Which, it's pretty close, but not close enough. I tweeted at Cosmo and he had the error being corrected a few hours later, so it wasn't really a big deal in the end, but it wasn't the backlink I was hoping for either. And I'm really hoping I don't sound like super entitled, oh, I didn't get my tag that I deserved. I just felt it was a bit weird that the other 2 got the tag and I didn't. In the grand scheme of things, as you can imagine, I still felt pretty damn stoked and excited when I went to bed that night. The next morning, I woke up to having clan members message me about a Reddit post, so I checked it out. It was made by my good friend Merri, who I think I haven't mentioned him yet, but he's playing a big part in this whole thing. Well, anyway, I was talking to him the night before. Too long didn't read. He explained what happened and asked people to go check out my videos and socials. Now this is some straight up promotional post, which I believe is against TOS on the Destiny community Reddit. So it could have easily backfired and then put him in a bad spot because he's trying to stand up for me. But to my surprise, people felt the wholesome nature, and many people upvoted and even followed my YouTube. That day I went from 200 to 450 subscribers on YouTube, which was a massive step for me. Okay, hang on a second. You've seen this name, MuffinBandit, in the comment sections a few times now. This is the Titan who was featured next to me on the cover. Turns out he was trying to find me, but couldn't as I wasn't tagged on the tweet and due to the typo in the TWAB. Well, eventually he did find me through Merri's Reddit post, and he was so kind to dedicate a whole section about me in his own Threads of Light recap video. For me, it was great to hear how he ended up on the cover, and again, very, very heartwarming stuff to see so many people rally up for me. I have linked his video in the description. Okay, back to the video. Feeling pretty humbled by Merri standing up for me only based on the notion that I sounded quote-unquote bummed out when we were talking, it got me thinking. I know Merri pretty damn well, and I knew he had no selfish interest in creating said Reddit post. So I did the right thing and messaged Cosmo asking him to reroute the emblem to Merri's account instead of mine. I've heard sketchy stories about people trying to sell rare community emblems for profit, so movie of the week, fashion, you name it. So having this in mind, I assumed Bungie would be on their toes with this unusual request. So to show my intentions were genuine, I explained everything and included the Reddit post for proof. Also, I reiterated that I am aware only one emblem was going to be granted, and I wanted that to go to him. So I didn't get the super rare fashion emblem. But what I got instead is this.
I hate you.
Now, I was really debating if I should be making this video in the first place. I was a little worried it would be perceived as portraying myself as the good Samaritan of this story, but this is really not what it's about. My audience, as of right now, primarily stems from Merri's Reddit post. So if you're watching because of him, I wanted to let you know that his friendship didn't go unnoticed. And if you ask for my 2 cents, it sets a good example to look out for one another, just like he did for me. Thanks for stopping by. Ooh, big scratches, huh? Big scratches. Cool. Alright, stream. Good night, Potsy. Good night, Merri. Good night, Seb. Good night. Oh, my love, but I'm gonna talk to you in a minute, I guess. Thanks for stopping by. Bye-bye.